Hey everyone, we're continuing our ball talk series with David from Oratio. We made the first one with Botego and with Akim, and we're continuing with David. So David, can you tell a bit about Oratio and what you do in space?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me here. I'm David, I'm the co-founder of Oratio. We're building a messaging platform which enables businesses to connect with their customers and messengers through personal and automated messaging. So one of our first use cases is obviously customer service. So businesses can do customer service on our platform, organizing all the conversations within a team. And we're also building some automatization features on top. For example, last October we launched our first bot product, which is Shop Assistant. So we could connect an existing shop system to our platform and instantly deploy a chatbot to Messenger. And customers can then discover products on Messenger, but also do customer service on the same channel.
What kind of brands are currently using and in which structure? And do we have some cases about those brands?
Yeah, currently around 130 teams are using Oratio, actually paying customers, and another 250 are in a 14 days trial phase. And one of the bigger players are, for example, Danone from the UK. They're doing traditional customer support on our platform. So what they're actually offering is a customer care platform for young mothers who can ask questions about Danone products. Another one, for example, is Azafone. It's the biggest telecom provider in Azerbaijan, and they also do customer service for their clients.
Yeah, actually, you have been in this business many times, and how did you start your venture, Oratio?
How did we start? We actually started, I think more than 1.5 years ago. So in spring 2015, we came from the publishing and marketplace space. Bernie and me were working together since, 6 years. This is our third project. And with our last project in the publishing space, we had a problem that, we saw the problem of publishers that it's hard for them to distribute the content, especially on mobile devices. So we were sitting together like, okay, what are the channels we are using? And so the first idea was like, okay, let's send our news on mobile channels. And one of them was messengers. Back then we also had mobile Chrome notifications on Android and Yo, if you might remember this app. And back then there were no official APIs. There were some graph APIs from Facebook, but there was no Messenger API. So it was really hard to do broadcasting messages because all the accounts got blocked easily because there was no support for that. And on the other hand, we had a lot of companies who asked us, oh, this is really cool, but actually we want to get in touch with our customers and talk to them and do customer service on this platform. So we switched our focus to actually provide one-on-one conversations on our platform.
Yeah. Actually, you're facing with B2B balls and sometimes B2C balls. How do you see the balls in our lives is going on in your cases? What do you see?
That's really hard to say.
How they touch the people's lives.
We get a lot of inquiries and a lot of requests from emerging markets, and that's super interesting because for us in the US or in Europe, we're still like a desktop-first country. All of us we own a laptop. This is like still our primary device. But if you look into emerging markets, the major platform we use is smartphones. And in these smartphones, they always install messengers to stay in touch with their family and their friends. So this is actually their first contact to the internet is a smartphone and messaging apps. And the next logical step for businesses is to touch in these ecosystems where the users already are. And the real power of bots I see in providing multiple features into one chat interface. Because that's actually what the web is providing us right now on desktop. You can have chat on the web, you can discover products on web, you can read news on the web. But the mobile web never made this way. And actually the mobile web always failed to deliver. And that's really interesting to see in the bot space or in the messaging space, because what you already have is a platform which provides chat. And now, for example, especially with Facebook Messenger, you can build app-like experience on top with structured inputs, with web views, so you can actually combine different use cases into one platform. And that is a huge opportunity, a huge potential.
Actually, I have been using in Messenger just three bots, some financial bots and a news bot. And what do you think when those bots will be mass on people's life, people's daily routines?
I think if you look at emerging markets, it's already there. It will probably take another couple of years until the US or Europe is on the same level as emerging markets, because now we see people start shifting from apps to messaging apps. And that actually happened within the last, I don't know, 1-2 years, that actually people started using messages in the US, because before that it was just using plain text messages. And now it's like a time where businesses need to provide use cases or actually transform the existing use cases into chats, and then I think it's a huge opportunity. And also, like if you look at the younger audience, there's also the main communication is on messaging. Vice versa, you see like an older generation, like I don't know, 30, 40 plus, the main communication channel is still phone, texting, or email. So I think this whole shift is gonna take a few years, but it's definitely coming.
Actually, you have a wide variety of customers, and to select one, could you tell us about some success story within your cases?
Yeah, I think the best use case I've ever seen is a startup or a company from Brazil, and what they actually do is they're selling homework to students in Brazil on Messenger. So actually, the students, they're on messaging networks anyway. So they're just texting this account with problems they have or with the homework they need to solve. And on the other end, they have humans solving the homework and sending it back and charging money for that. That's a really interesting case.
Yeah. Currently, how they're doing? Is it doing well?
I think currently they have around 8 agents on our platform. And I think they're doing well.
Perfect. And actually, your vertical on messaging or chatbot ecosystem, you're getting some vertical. You're occurring to this vertical. So, what do you think? How you extend your vertical, or do you plan any this kind of cases on this vertical? For example, we are Botanalytics and we are doing analytics, and sometimes we are doing some engagement tools and things on our side and for your side.
Yeah, actually, as you mentioned, analytics is really important, especially in the cases of customer service, because if you look in the US and Europe, these are pretty new channels, and companies need a validation or proof that these new channels make sense. So analytics is pretty important, because they need actually to show their project managers that the new channels are making sense and that they're going to stay these channels and that these channels are growing. Other than that, we also try to combine other verticals. For example, what we see a lot is automated FAQs, so automation of especially first level support. Because for most of our typical customer care companies, around 50 to 80% of the questions are always the same. And this can easily be automated. So we can actually do some kind of first level automation, and if it's not solved right away, it can still be forwarded to a human agent. So human agents can work more effectively and more efficient.
Yeah, I totally believe the hybrid mode, the hybrid system should live, I think, in a 5-year or 6-year maybe.
Yeah.
Because it's impossible to support 100% AI bot to all our customers. It can be start with maybe the first 10%, 50% AI support, then the rest of it is a human rep responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also that typically customer care agents, they will also transform in some kind of bot supervisors. So it's actually transforming to a supervision of bots. So humans are going to be supervisors of the bots, help them to train, help them to take over conversations when the users get stuck, and I think that's definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
And also, like, these bots, they don't only have to be for customer service and answering customer care questions. It also can be, I don't know, some other app, like for example a shopping app like we did, or I don't know, broadcasting news, whatsoever.
Yeah. And you're a B2B company on chatbot space. There are a lot of B2C bots in the space. We are a B2B company. What will be the best advice for both B2B bots and B2C bots in the space? Because it's still the market is still evolving, and it's getting customer, getting traction to survive in the space. What's your advice for them?
For B2C bots, the best advice is, I mean, if you don't have an idea, I would just look at the App Store and see what apps are performing pretty well. And at some point, they will also perform pretty well on messengers. And especially like if you look at, I don't know, games, Messenger opened up their game platform. Other like social apps, for example, there's Near Group and they're doing pretty well, having some similar concept as Tinder, where they do some kind of matchmaking for dating. Also Swelly, which probably was like, I think some similar ideas existed, I don't know, 5-6 years ago as apps. Also, Swelly started off as an app, but they get now a lot of traction in messaging apps because people are already there and more open to use it because the friction is way lower. And for B2B companies, it's hard to tell. I mean, it's always a long process to figure out what your customers actually need. It's very likely that your first idea what customers need is completely wrong. And, I mean, in our case, I mean, it wasn't completely wrong, but it wasn't possible what we wanted to do back then. But we were looking what is the market, what does the market want, and then just changed or pivoted our product to what actually the market was waiting for.
Actually, last year you made a great conference, Chatbot conference, and please tell us a little bit about the conference and for this year, what we should expect.
Last year in October 2016, we did the Chatbot Conf in Vienna. It was our very first own conference of Oratio. And the idea was I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in Vienna. Vienna is a really cool city. We have a messaging incubator there, we have a design thinking school on messengers, we have an accelerator, we have the conference, a lot of bot startups. And we thought back then it would be a good idea to gather all the people, like international people, to Vienna, and also like our customers, our partners from messaging networks, to get them to know them in person, because we are in touch with a lot of people only via messages or via email. And this was for us a huge opportunity to invite them to Vienna and to get to know them in person, but also to connect to the community. And we had speakers from Messenger, from Viber, from Slack, from Line, from Google, head of search, Zurich. We also had Poncho was there, Sveli was there. And this year we're going to organize another one. It's going to be mid-October, pretty likely. We're still looking for the location, so there's no fixed date, but it's going to be in October in 2017. And I think it will be hopefully a pretty cool conference.
Great. And one last question. You say about totally changed my individual life. Can you say if there's this kind of bot in your life?
I wouldn't say that it was.
Or if you change your company structure, if you use a B2B bot, I don't know.
I wouldn't say that one bot had completely changed my life, but I'm a big believer in the bot space for the things I mentioned earlier. And I'm still a desktop first person, so for me it's always easier. I mean, I still prefer web apps over apps because I spend a lot of time on my computer. But actually I love bots because the friction is very less. You can use it right away. You don't have to download an app. I really hate downloading apps. And that's why I see a huge opportunity. And also, since I'm a developer on my own, I also prefer, instead of building a little service on the web, which automates some tasks for me, to build a bot on top of Telegram. I'm a big fan of Telegram. We also use it for internal communication, and also build some features for our group chats to make communication more efficient and to be more productive on the messaging system. So I'm a big believer in productivity bots, especially like if you take a look at Slack. But I also think that B2C bots will be pretty cool in the near future. One of the bots I really like is Zoom AI. I know if you heard it.
Yeah.
It's a personal assistant, and I was like really amazed the first time I used it because I was just connected to my Google Calendar, and it was giving me half an hour before my next meeting was giving me recommendations, like infos about the person, recommendations how I should how I should talk to them. Personality snapshot was like really, fuck, this is really good.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, in a personal, I'm using Trimbot because I make a lot of purchases and subscribe to my account, and it really helps my life. I can cancel any subscription on the Messenger, but if you jump to the Bank of America app, it's kind of impossible to do this.
Yeah. And I'm also a big fan of inline bots, which you can use directly from an existing conversation, because then you don't have to switch context. And this is what actually takes the most of the time when I spend my time on smartphone, is switching between apps, switching between contexts, looking like where I can find the stuff, and this is really cool. Inline bots, because you have an existing conversation and can use it right away.
Yeah. Actually, we are finishing, but I want to add one more question. Actually, there are, I think, some two type of balls. For one type of balls, they're bordered balls. You can add some UI and some structure on it. Yeah, they will get some markup, but they don't have much NLP on it.
Yeah.
But there are some balls, they should be a huge NLP on it, and maybe they can be using on FAQ size of banks. They have really deep NLP. So what do you think the market will shape? The bordered UI mostly bots, or the deep NLP side bots?
Right now there's like a clear line between LLB bots, AI bots, and structured bots. But I think what's gonna win is a combination of these. As I already said, I'm a big fan of canonical interfaces, so having different use cases in one streamlined interface, that's like the real power of bots. So you have app-like experience when you need it, you have conversational experience, you have customer support on the same level, so you have like different use cases in one chat interface, and that's like the real power of bots. So it will be a combination of both.
Yeah, I got it. I agree with you. Yeah. Thank you for coming today.
Thanks very much for having me here. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, it was great to talk with you. And we will continue our bot talk series at Botanalytics. We are finishing today, and keep in tuned. Bye bye.
Bye bye.